Hey everybody, it's Robin Scherzer with Robin Stampin' Hood. Welcome to my hood. Today I'm going to do a class called Mainly Manly, and we're using this super fun Gone Fishing set. We'll be using the dies, we'll be using the paper. I just love it, and I know so will you. So we're going to set these two cards aside. And we're going to start with the first card. So you could change, obviously, out whatever you would want this to be. You can make it a happy birthday, whatever your heart desires. But I decided to make it a happy retirement because, you know, a lot of guys retired and ladies retire and they want to fish. So there you go. So we're going to start with this card. So we'll set it off to the side right there. What I love about this set is the two-step stamping. So I already did some cutting out, but I'm going to just show you the two-step stamping, which I love. I love, love, love. So this paper coordinates with lots of different muted colors. We have boho blue, calypso coral, misty moonlight, mossy meadow, very vanilla, wild wheat, petal pink, pecan pie, and pebbled path. So I'm going to just use the Misty Moonlight on this card so you can see how fun it is. So Misty Moonlight is a returning color, yes. So I'm going to pull my pad because this is a photopolymer stamp set, and it's a good idea to use this when you're stamping. It gives it that cushioning that our red rubber stamps usually give. Okay, so let's start with our little bobbers. Oh, they're so cute. So you're just going to stamp the outline, and then you're going to come back in with the little bottom of the bobber. Now you could use a different color. I've just chosen on this one to use the same color as the outline so you can see. Now, if you want, I want to show you like the different ways you can do different shades. So let's stamp that over there. And then we're going to take our bottom again, and I'm actually going to stamp off. So I'll just use that right there. And then I'm going to stamp onto there. So you can see the lighter color. Like if you would prefer the lighter color, that's what you do. Easy peasy. So now I'm going to do this little duty. I used to know the names of these things. When I was a kid, we would go to my aunt's cabin and do fishing. I wasn't fond of it though, because I did get a hook in my foot once, and that was not a lot of fun. Now I'm a little off there, so I'm going to try that one more time. But I love the two-step stamping of this. Now I suppose you could just use this, and that would be fine. This just gives it a little decorative feel. So I'm going to actually... And again, you could stamp off and make it just a little bit lighter so you can see that. And I think on this other side I did do that. So you can see it's a little lighter. So you can do that too. So I've already gone ahead and stamped and cut these out. So here are the two that I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna set those there. But then we're gonna go ahead before we put together. My rule of thumb is before you put anything together, you want to make sure that you've stamped everything, because if you mess up, you can flip it over and use the other side. So we're going to use the Happy Retirement. And now these are the deckled dies that you can use, and you can see they layer on top of each other. So this is the smaller one. I'm just going to do the Happy Retirement. I can't wait to get these kinds of cards for myself. Happy Retirement, right? And then we're going to go ahead and just layer these together. And I'm going to get rid of my little mat because I don't need that anymore. But we are done with that. And just lay it right in the center. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, so we're gonna put that aside for just a second. And I wanted to show you the suite for this. And let me close this before I put my hand in it or something else in it. So this is the suite. It's called Let's Go Fishing. And you can purchase all of this for $72, or you can do them all individually. So we're using the paper. And then that's called Let's Go Fishing, 12 by 12. And then we're gonna use this embossing folder, which is this one here. And I take my label maker and I write on it because I'll forget what it's called. So it's a twisted rope 3D. And you can see it's kind of like, it looks like rope, you know, like you tie off on your fishing boat or whatever. So we're using that. And then of course we're using the set along with the matching dies. So I just want to show you this embossing folder. I did go ahead and pre-emboss, so you didn't have to watch me do that because I know a lot of you guys know how to do that. But did you know this? Now, I'm not sure everybody knows this, but did you know that on your embossing folder, there is this black line? You see that there? So that's for you to help line up your cardstock correctly. So if you line up your cardstock right along that line, so you can kind of, well, you can't see it on that side, but if you look on the other side, then if your image needs to be straight, like some of them, it doesn't matter, but like if you had flowers or whatever, and this would probably, if I was doing the whole sheet, it probably needed to be straight. You would line it up with that line and then close it and emboss it like that, and it will, so you know the straightness. Isn't that brilliant? So in case you didn't know that, that's what that's for. So that's the twisted rope. And I went ahead and I already pre-embossed for this. So let's see. So I've cut a piece of boho blue and I have gone ahead and scored it as well. But I'm just gonna take my bone folder and I'm just gonna give it a nice burnish because we want it to be nice and crisp. So when whoever opens it, it looks so nice. Okay. So then we're gonna take a Calypso coral piece, and I just cut this 1/8 of an inch around. I didn't do my normal 1/4. Sometimes I think an eighth of an inch just looks a little bit more put together, maybe classy. I don't know the word, but it just sometimes looks just a little bit better. So we're gonna do that. And then that way too, I could cut my paper at the 4 mark, because then if you do it that way, you get 6 cards out of 1 piece of paper, which why wouldn't you want to do that, right? Let's see, let's get that just lined up good. Oh, I think I got it. Okay, so there's that. And then I did cut my paper to 4 by 5 1/4, okay? Because normally your card would be 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So I've cut this to 4. Now that's where my 1/4 inch comes in, to 5 1/4. So you can see it's just a little bit. Oh, there's the back of the paper. How about that? You could do something very neutral and masculine with that. Kind of reminds me of a plaid shirt. So, and then when you're cutting your paper, just make sure that when it has an image like this, that you're cutting it where the image is going the correct way. So you might have to think about that before you put it in your cutter and try to cut it. So then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna, oops, I actually didn't cut this right. I cut this, I wanted to cut it at 4 and I did not do that. So let's do that real quick right now, because I just want it to go across my 4-inch piece. So stick that in there, cut at 4, and now we should be good. All right, and then we're just gonna lay this right across the middle. Cute, cute. And again, this would make a great birthday card too. You can switch out whatever you want for the wording. Look at that. Easy peasy, right? There we go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put my little doodads on here before I'm not gonna put any glue up here just because it's gonna stick off the side a little bit and I don't wanna glue it down because we're gonna use some dimensionals to pop that up. And we'll do just right in the middle on this one too. We'll see which one looks a little bit better. Maybe going this way. I don't know. It's fine. Whatever there goes there. Okay. And then let's take our dimensionals and pop this up. And I'm gonna put some in the middle too. You know, I talk about always don't let it collapse on whoever you're gonna give it to. Ooh, I love it. I'm getting to the end of this sheet. So I love when I have a clean, I did it, sheet of dimensionals. Oops, a little glue on my fingers. Move that back over here so you can see it. There. Isn't that cute? But we need to finish it off. You know, my saying always is, right? You need to stamp it, embellish it, layer it. So these are these awesome brushed metallic, embellishments. They're adhesive back. So I'm just going to use, I think, some of these because they kind of go with the green of the fish in there, right? I don't know what that color would be, but you know what I mean, right? There we go. There we go. And then we'll just put one more little one up here. Oh, like they're fighting for the food right there. So there you go. So that is the first card from my Mainly Manly. Okay, so our second card is a little bit more complicated. Now, this is directly out of the catalog. So we just decided it was so stinking cute that we could not pass up actually making it, right? So it's this one right here, this card right here. So exciting. Okay, let's get started. There's lots of stamping, lots of cutting out of die cuts and putting things together, which is fine. So we want to find that paper. So here I have a little scrap left. So this paper is going to be cut to the exact same size of the card. Now, I always do just a smidge under because, you know, your cutting sometimes can be a little off. So I'm actually going to do that at a little under 4 1/4 and then just a little under 5 1/2 to fit on my card base. Now I'm going to grab my card base, but I want to make sure that it is scored, which it is not. And I want to make, oops, yep, I grabbed the wrong one. So I'm using the thick vanilla, and I've already gone ahead and scored it. I have found with the thicker paper, you really need to score it ahead of time. Don't use your fingers or even your bone folder, but score it with a normal scoring tool. Okay. So it just looks ragged if you don't. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a little burnish here because it does need to get a little flatter. And then we're going to go ahead and put this on. I like to, if I'm not stamping anything, I like to put all those pieces together only because then I tend to lose them if I don't. I'm sure I'm not the only one that does that. But since there's no stamping on here, we're going to go ahead and put it right on the card. So let's see, easy peasy. And I actually did a pretty good job cutting that, which is a little shocking. Oops, I keep hitting that edge there. Okay, so I want to show you real quick. I thought I brought them over to my desk, but maybe I didn't. Hold on one sec, I'll be back. So I want to show you the dies that go with this. So you can see there's many, 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 many dies. And this fish will also, so if you don't have the stamp set, this fish will also be cut out by the die. So you have that fish, there's actually like 3 or 4 different colors. So that one, this one. So I love when Stampin' Up! Does that, when they design the paper that we can actually cut it out with some of the dies that we have. So this is an awesome set for that. So I did want to show you a little bit of the stamping before we move on, because there is some fun dual stamping here as well. So I'm going to grab my piercing mat again, because remember that it's a photopolymer, so you do want to have that little bit of edge or that little bit of foam, I'm sorry, under there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just show you some of the stamping on this because it's just so much fun. So you know how I showed you the same tone on this little bobber. You can also use an outline. So this is actually a pebbled path. And then you can come in with your little bobber part, and I'm using some old stamp pads. We have lots of people coming for class, so I was setting stuff up. So you can use this to give it a two-tone look to the bobber, if that's what you want. So you can see that's the bobber where I did just the same, and that's where it's a little different. And I did the same thing when it came to this one. I just went ahead and stamped it in the darker and then came along with the boho blue and did this little part of it. Oops. And again, I'm a little off there. This one we did, we stamped it off to get the lighter one. So you could do one or the other there. And then let me just show you real quick this one right here. That one I think is super interesting. So we're gonna use Mossy Meadow and Wild Wheat for those. So again, this is kind of I don't know how to explain it. So this is kind of not a monotone, but a monochromatic. So you have this guy, right? And then you're gonna come in with the body part of it. And what's cool about this is there's like a little eye hole. So you can put it right at the eye. So that's if you would just use the monochromatic. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna wash that real quick and show you the other way to do it. So we're gonna open up our Mossy Meadow and we're gonna do the outline and the wheat, the wild wheat. I just love how these go so nicely together. Oops, I kind of did them upside down. So we're gonna, oops, I didn't get all the ink. So make sure you get all the ink on them. And I'm lining it up with the little eyeball there. So then you have that darker color. So I love that you can do that with that. So that's the stamp, all the stamping. And of course we have the die cuts for every single one of these that you can cut out, or you can fussy cut them, whatever your heart desires. It doesn't matter. But I have gone ahead and I've gone ahead and cut them all out ahead, so you don't have to watch me do that, because I know a lot of you know how to do that. And there are videos out there that show you how to if you don't know how. So, but I'm going to show you one other thing. So we have this fun little lure right here, and I'm going to show you how to do the two different colors on it. And you'll need Stampin' Write markers for that. So I have the basic gray, and I have the, I believe this is the Misty Moonlight, yep. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna color with the brush end. If you didn't know, the brush end has that thicker white line, the writing end has the thinner white line. So then that way you're not opening both the caps trying to figure out what the heck's going on. So I'm gonna color with my brush end on the, and I'm using the side. I'm not going like this because you're gonna ruin the tip if you do that. So I'm using the side of my brush end, okay? And I'm gonna bring it all the way up there. And then I'm gonna switch to the other color. And this is basic gray because I didn't have a pebbled path. So I thought, well, we'll use basic gray instead. And now I might have just picked up some of the blue. Hopefully I didn't. Hopefully we'll be okay. It does look a little blue though, so we'll see. I'm just getting any excess color that I might be picking up when I hit it like that, because I feel like there might be some weird color combo in there that I did by mistake. But we'll see, won't we? Okay, so obviously the ink is drying while I did that, so I'm just gonna give it a huff with my breath to re-moisten, and then I'm gonna stamp, and you can see there you have your colors that you need, right? Is that not cool or what? Very easy. I mean, very, very easy. So that's how you do 2 different colors. And of course that has a cutout as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff out of the way so we can get this all started. What I love about the dies too is it has the cutout for your little tackle box here and here. So I've already gone ahead with the pebble and I've cut out this piece, and I'm actually gonna put a white piece here so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing against the black. So you have that white piece, and then you have your little tackle box that sits right on your little dividers, okay? So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna do this embossing, because I feel like I really can't put it all together until I have that embossing done. So what I did is I just took a white piece and cut it out as a template for myself, because I don't wanna gook up my actual box. So I'm just doing that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab my stamp set that says, "Good things come to those who wait." And I think that has to do with waiting for that fish, right? So I'm gonna take my Versamark. And again, I'm just doing it this way so I'm not gooping up my good card, okay? And this kind of helps me then as a template. And I suppose you can do it with the real thing on there, but for me, I felt like I'd mess it up if I did it that way, okay? Because now what we wanna do is we wanna pull it off and do our embossing on it. So I'm gonna take that away. I'm gonna grab my embossing tray, oops, and my powder, which is white, and this is old powder, so the whites you get now is a little bit different than what I'm throwing on here, but you'll get the idea. Now I did forget to do my embossing buddy, and this would have been a good one to do the embossing buddy on, because then you see how I have a little bit of that clingy stuff. It's clinging to the paper. If I would have used my embossing buddy, like a smart stamper would, I wouldn't have that. So I'm just gonna take my brush and make sure I get that off there, because I don't want it to be embossed onto the paper. So I'm gonna set this aside. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna show you how you can just put this right back in. So this nifty little tray, you just screw off the bottom there, and it acts like a funnel, and you just funnel that excess right back into there. I love, love, love that you can do that. So I'm just getting all the excess powder. Easy, easy, right? Isn't that nice? I love it. And then you just screw this back on. This design's so much better than our older design where there's like a plug that you have to pull out and it can be a little tricky. So this is a really nice addition. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the tweezers that comes with this groovy tray and all that, and I'm going to hold on to my paper with it, and we're gonna turn on the heat gun. It's gonna have to heat up a little bit, and we'll see if you can see. And you wanna move it around a little. You don't want it totally sitting in one spot, because that does tend to burn it. So we just wanna move it back and forth, and you'll start to see it heat up. So here we go. Here we go. Again, if you do heat it too much, you can burn it. So see how it's changing, the good's changing, now the thing's changing. And I'm moving the heat down. I'm not keeping it on the same spot, because once it's changed, we don't need to heat it anymore, right? We just want that powder to melt and become embossed. And I'm gonna hit it one more time, like that. And beautiful. Is that fun or what, you guys? I love that. Okay, it's a little hot right after the fact, so I'm just gonna set it aside for a second here. and let it dry. You can see where the heat was heating up my thing right there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start putting together, while that's drying out, I'm gonna actually take some of my mini black dimensionals. I love these things because it kind of hides it. And I'm gonna pop this up, and I'm putting them just right where the crossroad is happening. So when it's over, you can't really see it. So I'm actually gonna take my little pokey tool here and have it help me do that a little bit. And because it doesn't have to be over the whole thing, it just needs to be, you know, where it's not gonna collapse. You'll have some strategic parts where it needs to sit. Let's see, we'll do one right here because it's a thicker part. And we just want to make sure that it's not going to show. And you might even have to cut some of these because it is a very narrow thing. So I am going to actually cut a few of these in half. Okay, so I've gotten all the backings off. And see, these are the black ones, which are nice because they kind of blend in with this darker paper. And then you're not worried about seeing the white. Like if you look on my sample, you can see some of the white under there, which I'm not crazy about. But before we put that on though, I'm gonna go ahead and this one keeps coming off on my finger. So we're gonna put you back. Okay. I'm gonna lay this down so it's flat before I put that other piece on top, because you can see how the heat kind of made it curve a little bit. So, which is fine because once we glue it down, but just make sure you get good adhesive down there. So I'm just gonna kind of frame it out with that piece of DSP. I'm just gonna hold it down for just a sec, let it get adhered where it needs to be. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so now let's take our tackle box and put it on here. So hopefully we were good when we did our embossing, and it should be perfect there, right? Now I'm just gonna go ahead and start pressing down to make sure that my dimensionals are actually adhering to the paper and not being silly. So there we go. So there you have your tackle box done. It's perfect, right? So now we did all these fun little pieces. So we're gonna go ahead and, well, first we're gonna stamp. We need to stamp still. We got more stamping to do. This is where I might break my rule just a little bit about make sure you stamp before you adhere stuff, because we have so many things going on here. And if we mess this stamping up, it's not gonna be that detrimental, I don't think. Okay, so it's just this little background piece right here. It just gives it a little bit more dimension. Okay, so actually not too bad. Beautiful. All right. Again, it just is for a little bit more of a dimensional kind of thing. Okay, so let's grab our real dimensionals here and let's do some popping up of stuff. And we'll use a bigger one. Hopefully that's not too big. Oh, that's perfect. And then I'm gonna actually take the edge of this one because I think this might be a good fit right here. Yep, it looks like it is. That's good. And we're just gonna lay that little lure right there. And then we're gonna take his little buddy and do the same thing. These are so cute, you guys. If you don't have this set, I think right now the dies are back ordered or are not orderable at this point, but the set itself is. You could always fussy cut. See, I love fussy cutting. I know some people do not like fussy cutting, but I actually do. So I would be okay with that, but you can always get the dies a little bit later. Okay, so we're gonna lay his buddy right next to him like that. OMG, is that the cutest thing, right? Okay, let's build our little bobber that we have over here. So I cut out So you get a couple pieces in this. So you can see on the die cuts, you get this bigger piece, and then that would fit over the top of it. So that's nice to have, so you're not trying to piece together these little things. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put some glue on here, and we're gonna, my little pick tool would be perfect for this, but I'm too lazy to go find it. How about those apples? Okay, so you're just gonna lay that on top, kind of line it up with itself. It's a little, there we go. I think I got it. Ooh, perfect. So there's that. And then you're going to have the little spindly thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little bit of my glue on there. And then I'm going to lay this on top of it the best that I can. And if it's not perfect, no one is gonna care, are they? Nope. No one is gonna care. They're just gonna go, oh my gosh, that is the most stinking cute thing they've ever seen. Trust me on that. Okay, so this is probably the trickiest part. So my best advice for you here is you're gonna take, this is from the Basic Essentials Baker's Twine. You're just gonna take this and loop it and bring the loop closest to the top as you can get it. And I'm playing, there we go. And then I'm going to just loop it through like that and then pull it tight, okay? And you can wrap it a little bit if you'd like. And then I'm gonna bring it underneath. And then I'm gonna take a dimensional and kind of attach it with that. Help keep it in place. That makes sense. So I'm laying the dimensional on top of this so it's not all messed up there. And I'm gonna bring this actually around the back and have it just kind of stick out. So that is also touching the dimensional, helping it stay into place, okay? And then I'm going to just lay it down like this. And I'll have that little bit of piece left that I can cut down if I need to. And what I think I'll do is, now we don't sell silver foil anymore, but you can, I'm sure you guys have it, right? So there's that. I'm gonna take my glue dots, and sure, I'm gonna take my glue dots, and I'm actually going to pull one off of here and put it on the back. I think maybe a small dimensional will fit on here. Let's see. We might be able to make that work. Oh, maybe. Yes, how about that? Okay. So we'll do that. And then we can kind of, it's supposed to be a sinker, I think, right? Is that what they're called? Boy, I'm shocked that I even could tell you that. So I'm just gonna kind of do this. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're gonna kind of tie the tail around here. Oh yeah, and then it'll stick in there. Perfect, okay. And then I have some of the other pre-cut stuff here. So we're gonna finish this little puppy off. So we have this one, so that one can pop up with a dimensional as well. And make sure that when you are putting these on with your dimensionals, that you're giving it a nice little push, because you don't want it to not adhere. You know what I mean? I know you want it popped up, but you wanna make sure that it actually sticks to the paper. That's a big one. All right, so we have this little bobber. We're gonna do the same, but we'll give him 2 since he's a little bit bigger. Oh, the bobber I love. It reminds me of when I was a kid and we went fishing. So like I said, I don't do that anymore just because of the bad hook. And I actually think it was one of these little buggers that got in my, my foot when I was a kid. My cousin was fishing and he caught a sunfish, and we were on one of those floating rafts, deck kind of things, and that fish started flopping around, and the next thing I know, it was in my foot. Yeah, it was not fun. With a floppy fish and a hook in your foot, it was not fun. So then this is the little feather that you can cut out with the dies. And so we're gonna put a little glue on it. And we'll attach it to our lure. Isn't that cute? Oh my God, it's so cute. All right, so we have that. And I did have one of these. Let's see, I have another, there he is. He's hiding on me. So there's that. So what I'm gonna do here is, because it is a little tricky because they're such little small itty bitty pieces, I'm gonna take another glue dot and I am going to just put it right here. Oops, maybe, right? Maybe. I'm gonna put it right there. And we'll go ahead and put our little hooky thing. Is that the proper way? So you can see the little hooky thing is in there, right? Okay, so now we're gonna put this all together. So I'm just gonna kind of lay this behind. Again, I think what I'll do is I'll just take a glue dot and put it there to help hold it in place. I'll put one there, and oops, got one caught on my finger. We can do that as well. Put that one right there. And then we'll just do a little bit of a circle. So again, this is the Baker's Twine Essentials. So I just want to make sure I'm hitting where the glue dot is so it holds it kind of in place for it. And then I'm going to go ahead and take another dimensional or two and put it right here and right here. Okay, oops, stuck to my fingers. And we'll just lay it on top like that. And then I'm gonna come along with this other little sinker. And because I have that glue dot sitting right there, I should be able to put that right there. And there you go, you guys. You have this adorable, adorable little tackle box. And like I said, this is a total case from the catalog. Don't forget to look at the catalog for those different types of cases. I think you'll be happy when that happens. So that is the second card for Mainly Manly. Okay, so this is the last card for my Mainly Manly class. And it's kind of a fun fold. So let me show you what it looks like. Is that fun or what? Okay, so we're gonna do this real quick and it's pretty easy. So you are going to take a piece of your designer series paper and you're gonna cut it to 12 by 5 1/4. Okay, I'm gonna just move this so I can bring my scoring all the way out here. And then you're gonna score it long way, or hot dog way, as they say. And you're gonna score it at 2 inches. So grab the 2 inches, not cut it with my cutter. And just be gentle when you score DSP, because sometimes it can break through it and cut it. So you don't want to be too heavy-handed. So you want to do it at 2 inches, 5 inches, and 8 inches. Okay? And that should give you your fun fold. So let me grab my bone folder here. So actually, okay, I did do that right. I started to panic a little bit, but you can see where this piece is a little smaller than this piece, so it's good. So we're gonna go ahead, and this is just a 1/4 sheet, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 of Misty Moonlight. So let's go ahead and get that put on right away, because there's no stamping on that, but we need, oops, my glue is not wanting to come out, so let's switch to one that will, maybe. So put it in the corners, don't have to be too heavy-handed. You know, some people really put lots of glue on, and you really don't need a whole lot. You don't want to put so much on that your card starts to stiffen. So there's the base of your card, okay? Really easy, but a real cute fun fold. So let's do the rest of it. So I used Stylish Shapes for the circles. So let's go ahead and we're gonna do our stamping. And we're gonna use, for So Glad That You're My Dad, we're gonna use Calypso Coral, but of course you could use any color your heart desires. So we'll go ahead and stamp that right there. And I probably should have used my pad and I didn't, but it turned out okay. So then the next thing that we're gonna stamp is gonna be Good Things Come to Those Who Wait. And we're gonna do that in the Misty Moonlight. Love that that came back. And we used the same thing when we were doing our embossing on our little toolbox, fishing box. There we go. And then the last one is Happy Birthday. Now this Happy Birthday is not part of the, it's not part of this set. It is actually part of the Beautiful Balloons set. So we're gonna go ahead and use that, the Happy Birthday, and I'm using the Wild Wheat. Go ahead and do that. And there you go. Actually, I probably used pecan there, but that's okay. It looks just fine because it'll match with what's going on there. So, okay. So let's go ahead and put all these together. So then I just used the next size up circle in Misty Moonlight. I just love the stitched or the stylish shapes. If you don't have them, you need to get them because they are definitely a staple in every crafters. And I know you guys hear me say that a million times a year or a month because of my Maker Mondays and Thursdays and everything. Okay, so just like before, I went ahead and I cut everything beforehand so you didn't have to watch me do that. So I did do a little fish here. So we're just gonna go ahead and glue him down. And we don't want too many dimensionals on this inside of the card because there's so many layers already. So just keep that in mind. Now, this is where the tricky part is. I would like you to look at my sample and so you can see that all those circles line up with each other, right? And if you would open it, it's just a little bit over the edge. So let's start with the back circle. So we're gonna line up the back circle and then we're gonna line up the other circles on top of that. So it should perfectly match that. Okay. So right in the middle, all right. And then we're gonna lay that down. And then the next one is Good Things to Come to Those That Wait. So see how you're gonna lay it just like that on top so you're not seeing the circle behind it. And just be careful, don't put any glue on that side. So I'm gonna just put it there because otherwise you're just gonna glue your card right down. So you don't wanna do that. And it's okay if the glue doesn't come right to the edge, it's fine. So we have that now. And then we're gonna close it. And you can see we close it there. And then we're gonna lay this one on top. And now we need even less glue, right? So I'm gonna start about right here for my glue because I do not wanna glue this down. This card is way too fun for me to mess it up that way, right? Okay, so now all of our circles are lined up. It's pretty easy. Oh, see what I did? I even did that after telling you guys, don't do it. Don't do it. So I'm gonna let that dry. And actually, I might even put a little, maybe I'll put, well, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I can fix that a little bit. I'm gonna let it dry though, and then I'm gonna come back in with my eraser. So then I can make sure that that doesn't stick down when somebody goes to open it. Okay, so again, we cut out little pieces from that little bobber set, which is so cute. And we're just gonna put a little bit of glue on here. And you could use glue dots on this as well. And I probably just put way too much glue on there. And again, we're just gonna lay it down. Yep, my glue is just coming. I just wanna be a gluing fool today, I guess. Okay, and then we're gonna take, just like we did with the other one, this is actually Pebble Path. And I'm gonna lay this on top of it. Oops. Yeah, I am just not doing very well here with the glue. Usually I do okay with the glue. Not so much today. Okay, so I'm actually going to let that dry for a second. And then I'm gonna take this really cute fish that I stamped. And we're gonna go ahead and put him together here with dimensionals because he's way too cute not to pop up, right? See, you guys, you don't have to be perfect. Look at how messed up I am. Okay, we're gonna put that there. And then I did just stamp another one of those lures just in the Mossy Meadow. Gosh. I'm trying to hurry, and so I think that's why I'm messing up a little bit. And that's way too much glue, so I'm just gonna take my finger and do that. And there we go. And now let's get our little gems. Okay, so I am going to take these fun new dots. Now these unfortunately are now on back order, so you can't get them, but these are the new in color enamel dots. So I thought they were perfect to go with this paper. Oh my gosh. And it just adds that little something something that you know I'm always talking about, right? All right, I'm gonna put one there. And I had just enough, whew. But I could have used other colors too. All right, so let's finish making this little thing. I let it dry a little bit. So kind of like what we did before, I just made a little noose and we're gonna wrap it around here. And let's see, what did I do here? Okay, it comes around. So we're gonna do that and then bring it around the back and we'll do some cut off of it too. And it'll give it a little bit of something, something. Let's cut that off. We don't quite need that much. And then we'll put a dimensional to kind of hold it into place. Yippee skippy. How easy is this, you guys? There's lots of pieces and parts to this. And yeah, you're probably not gonna wanna make a whole lot of these, but for that special guy, oh my gosh. And you can change these sayings, no problem at all. So don't be afraid to, oh, my thing's a little goofy, but it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? And then let's finish that. I think we're good, right? I think we got it all. Oh my gosh, you guys. Look, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So there you go. There is the last of the, and you got to see me mess up. Isn't that wonderful? I love it. So that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed my Mainly Manly class, and you can get all your products at my website. You can just go to robinscherzer.stampinup.net and order all the fun things there. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great week, and happy stamping.